Back to Down on the Farm. I'm your host, Larry Marble. Thanks so much for joining us today on one of our 14 affiliate stations. We're brought to you proudly each and every day by D&D Farm and Ranch. That's ddtexasoutfitters.com. Neighbor, let's take a look at the movement of corn, beans, and wheat, courtesy of John Tuggle and Company, Corpus 361-852-5207. A quiet holiday trade. Corn futures down 2, beans closed down 8 to 11. KC wheat closed up 8. The fact that the U.S. dollar is currently down to levels not seen in 6 months is an underlying positive factor for U.S. commodities, although yesterday's lower corn and bean markets were likely more of an end-of-the-year positioning point. The higher KC wheat probably had something to do with a grain vessel being hit by a Russian mine in the Black Sea earlier yesterday morning. It is interesting that China has now approved 26 seed companies to sell GMO corn seed in China. Chinese government has approved only 1.5 million acres of GMO corn plantings this spring, but it is important as Chinese corn yields historically for non-GMO are only about half of what U.S. corn yields are. Long term, this is bad news for U.S. corn exports. China's aversion to GMO seed is also part of their appetite for U.S. sorghum. For help marketing your grains, trust John Tuggle and Company, Corpus 800-288-4453. We're on the line with Stephen from D&D Farm and Ranch. That's ddtexasoutfitters.com. Stephen, I need to weigh a bunch of pigs, and I understand that you've got some hog scales.
Yes, sir, we sure do, Larry. 58 SX hog scales from W.W. Paul. They are going to come with a beam and poise and 2 bifold doors. Really easy to work.
Tell us how to get a hold of you.
You can reach me at 830-379-7340, extension 161.
We've been with Stephen from D&D. Go to ddtexasoutfitters.com for more information. Neighbor, let's take a look at the pork side of the meat equation. Looks like that the National Pork Carcass Cutout Value 9 stronger at 82.61 Thursday afternoon. The loins were 230 by the hundredweight stronger, and the bellies were 257 stronger, while the other primals were lower for the day. The federal slaughter for hogs, 1.429 million head. Now let's turn our head and steer our gaze toward the beef side of that meat protein equation. Wholesale box quotes, $291.28 in the choice, $259.24 in the select on Thursday afternoon. Down another 20 for the choice, and it was $1.08 weaker for the select. The rib primals, $556.44 and $403.03, choice and select, respectively. USDA says that the cattle slaughter for the week, 350,000 head compared to 380 for the same week last year. Looks like Thursday's bulk trade, 172 on the hoof in the dirt. That's up 1 to 2 cents for the week. Confirmation of 13.4 thousand head of cattle trading hands on Thursday. Neighbor, there's your meat moves. Hi, neighbor. Larry Marble with you. We're here with Aaron Lee of Homestead and Ranch Real Estate. Call 830-317-1797. They specialize in Texas farms, ranches, and custom homes on acres. Aaron, you've got a question for my South Texas ranch owners, don't you?
I sure do, Larry. I've been looking high and low for ranches for my clients, but there's been some problems.
What's the issue, Aaron?
Well, a lot of farm and ranch websites are outdated. A lot of agents aren't calling me back or updating listings, and I've got buyers ready to buy their perfect Texas ranch.
Now, don't all the agents put their properties online like y'all do?
Many do, but sometimes these properties aren't updated if they've sold or if they've been taken off the market for one reason or another. So what does that do? It wastes a whole lot of people's time. Right now, I've got buyers ready to go for properties in a lot of Texas County. Today, I want your listeners who have considered selling their ranchers out in Frio or LaSalle County or any of the counties surrounding to give me a call. If you're thinking of selling your ranch, I've got buyers ready to take a tour. And here's where I'm at with this. If you list your property with us today, you will get the service you deserve. Not all ranch agents are created equal, and I'll tell you what, I'm tired of watching sellers get cut-rate service.
How can they reach you, Aaron?
They can call me directly at 830-317-1797, and I give you my word, I'll call you back. Or you can visit us at www.homesteadandranch.com.
Aaron Lee, Homestead and Ranch Realtors, thanks for being on Down on the Farm.
Thank you, Larry.
We're on the line with Doug Bass, Cattleman's Columbus. Doug, our special is coming up on Friday. That's today, folks. Y'all be sure to get down there and get cattle bought. Doug, what you have?
Oh, we've got a good selection of cattle, Mr. Larry. I tell you what, we've got 75 or so bulls, probably right around 50 good Charolais bulls. I would say somewhere around 10 Angus bulls. About that many Hereford bulls. We got a few good Beefmaster bulls, a few Brahman bulls. If you're looking for one, I guarantee you ain't gonna find them any better. Cow selection is really good. We're gonna have right at 950 cows and open heifers, pairs. Got a really, really nice set of F1 bred heifers and some F1 cows bred up, some pairs, golden certified. Heck of a good set of crossbred ranching cows, a really good Charolais calves on them and so forth, and a really good set of open heifers if somebody's looking at air projects.
Okay. So when will it start?
We're going to start at 12 o'clock right there at Columbus. Yes, sir.
Well, tell everybody how to get a hold of you, Doug.
Yes, sir. Y'all can call me on my cell, 979-877-4454, or call us at the office, 979-732-2622.
Doug, we appreciate it.
And we'll also be on DV Auction, Mr. Larry. If anybody wants to look us up on DV Auction, if you can't make it, then get online and you can do some buying there.
Good. Get registered so you'll be right there on time. Doug, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Larry. Y'all have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. Neighbor, I'd like to remind you about George Weichel and the good folks at Wholesale Steel, San Antonio Steel. Heavy-duty lifetime warranty on their cattle panel. The standard duty panel also. Heavy-duty and standard duty pasture gates. They're a new Preferred dealer, and they'll beat anybody's prices on the Preferred products. They've got Stay Tight 50 and Stay Tough fencing both. Cattle work in pens. They've got 2 Texas locations. They've got the San Antonio store. Call 210-624-2000, or the Hearn Bryan College Station store, 979-280-6100. Now remember, that Hearn location is off Highway 6, and the San Antonio location is there off Texas 16. They're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Fridays and Saturdays, 8 to 4. You can find them on the web at wholesalesteelsa.com. Of course, that's the San Antonio store, or wholesalesteelbcs.com. And that's the Bryan College Station Hearn store. Oh, and by the way, tell George Weichel that Larry Marble sent you. Neighbor, now it's time for Texas News and Views. We'll see what Carrie Martin has to say. Carrie?
Forage supplies are low as winter gets underway. I'm Kerry Martin with Texas News and Views on the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network. Forage supplies are low all across Texas as a second year of summer drought kept the grass from growing. The climate in southwest Texas is already dry, so ranchers there depend on every drop of rainfall they can get. Warren Cude has cattle and sheep near Fort Stockton.
Well, you know, we went through a terrible, this was the second summer that we'd actually gone through without any measurable rainfall. So we actually went 2 growing cycles or 2 years without being able to grow a lot of grass. We were very fortunate in October that we received way above normal rainfall. Ended up around 6 inches, which we were very blessed to have that. But we should go through and be able to raise some winter weeds is what we're hoping. We didn't really have a lot of time to grow any native grasses, but at least we've got some moisture base back into the ground. It's kind of scary right now, depending on which group of meteorologists you talk to. Some are saying a cold, wet winter, and then there's another group saying that it's going to be possibly be a dry and warmer than normal winter. So, but again, we feel very blessed with the moisture we did receive in October.
The annual rainfall in that area is 12 to 14 inches. But in October, Cude says they got a half year's rainfall in just 3 weeks. Things look a bit different when you look at north central Texas and the rolling plains. Michael White farms and raises cattle in Wilbarger County near Vernon. He says the biggest issue they have there is stock pond water.
Well, everything kind of in our area, Kerry, is looking pretty good. We do have some forage there. A lot of winter wheat pasture has come up good and growing well. Problem is we just need a little more rain with some runoff capabilities to catch some stock pond water. That's where our shortage is right now up in our area. And I know that's probably on both sides of us, so on surrounding counties with the same type of problems. But as far as winter forage, we're looking pretty good. We're starting to see more cattle get out on winter pastures. And like I said, if you have the water availability, you're looking pretty good.
And on the farming end of his operation, White says they'll probably cut back on cotton acreage after 2 years of low cotton prices.
I would say probably some of the things that are making our decisions are, yes, probably the input costs. We're shifting more of our cotton ground probably to wheat ground, planting more wheat acres. And, of course, I'm not so sure how smart that is, being the wheat prices have taken a tumble a little bit. But we're also, we're heavily involved with cattle, so that helps make up a difference for us. But we'll cut our cotton acreage back some, and I think that's going to probably be throughout our county, too.
Michael White in Wilbarger County. I'm Kerry Martin on the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network.
When we moved to Texas, we were like fish out of water. We didn't know anyone in our neighborhood until our Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent came to the house. She was so helpful and reassuring, a friendly face with that Texan hospitality I'd heard about. When we purchased a Texas Farm Bureau insurance policy, we knew we were making the right choice. We knew our family would be protected.
Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance today at tfbinsurance.com to find an insurance agent who's a true neighbor. Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Neighbor, now let's head back to Waco on this holiday edition of Down on the Farm. We'll speak with Tom Nicoletti in his program Focus on Agriculture.
Trends within America's farms and ranches. I'm Tom Nicoletti with Focus on Agriculture at the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network. The latest edition of the U.S. Department of Agriculture's annual America's Farms and Ranches at a Glance report reveals data from farm and ranch size to income. Family farms still play a big role in American agriculture, according to Catherine Lacey, an economic researcher at USDA.
Small family farms made up 88% of the farm count and operated 46% of the farmland, but generated only 19% of the total valued production.
Annually, the report studies various demographic, economic, and production information. This year's report studied findings from calendar year 2022.
There are two new sections in this year's edition. The first section reports usage of credits by lender type and farm size. The second section provides information on the differences and characteristics of farm operations by the race and ethnicity of the farm operators. Large-scale family farms dominate the production of most commodities, including beef, hogs, cash grains and soybeans, cotton, dairy, and specialty crops. In the remaining two commodities, poultry and eggs, and hay, small family farms and mid-sized family farms dominate the production.
The Department of Agriculture economic researcher also highlights the non-family farms category.
The value of production for non-family farms was less than 20% for all commodities. If you compare this report to last year's edition, you will notice the value of hog production and specialty crop production increased for large-scale family farms and decreased for non-family farms. However, the value of production shares in 2022 was similar to the shares seen in 2019 and 2020. The share of farms with a low-risk operating profit margin varied by farm size in 2022.
That is Catherine Lacey, an economic researcher with the U.S. Department of Agriculture. I'm Tom Nicoletti at the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance today at tfbinsurance.com to get insurance for Texans by Texans. Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Neighbor, let's take a long look at the grains, courtesy of John Tuggle and Company. Corpus, Milo through Corpus in December, March plus 115, 1052. Houston, March plus 120, 1061. Progresso, March plus 40, 918. Yellow corn to Corpus in December, March plus 45, 519 and a quarter. Progresso March plus $1 and a dime at 584 and a quarter. Hard red winter wheat to Houston in December, March plus 30, 673 and three quarters. And beans to Placido, December January delivery, Jan less 90, 1215 and a quarter. 18,530 bale of Texas cotton. Low side 76.45, high side 79.20. The average price across the 18,530 bales of cotton, $77.87. Neighbor, we ain't average. We're the best darn farm show in Texas because you're the best darn farm show listener, and I appreciate you doing so on one of these 14, now 16 Down on the Farm radio stations. That's it. That's all. Good day.